I want to address something today. It's been on my mind and it's been in the comment section a few times, and it has to do with me kind of talking about some of the negatives, me kind of addressing some of the mistakes I made with investing and some of those kinds of things. I get comments sometimes when I post a video like I did the other day about a bunch of option contracts I sold off too soon, and I got comments like, why are you bringing up the past? You need to move on. That's an amateur move, like this and that. And I always preach like don't think about the past, like just move on, learn from it and move on, right? But I bring up a lot of these things from the past. I always bring up 2015 quite often, right? The year I got into margin trading and doing so much stuff that just lost me massive amounts of money. I talk about that, right? And I talk about my mistakes. I always talk about them, and I talk about them probably more than anybody ever. I don't even know if there's anybody even on my level as far as the amount of mistakes I talk about and how often I bring them up, right? And I get people that are like, why do you do that, and whatnot. So there's a lot of reasons, but the main thing for me, as someone that's an educator in the financial space, all right? As someone that kind of introduces people to the stock market, gets people excited, right? I feel like it's my job to not just give a false narrative, okay? What does a false narrative mean? That means to give a picture of a story that is not fully true, right? So, for instance, all right? Investing, all right? Investing. Is everything perfect with investing? Does anybody out there always make the right move? Absolutely not. There's never been a person in history of mankind who has made every single perfect investment, always find the perfect stock, right? If they did, they would be a zillionaire, right? They would have all the money in the world because they would have made all the right moves. They would have never lost a dime, right? It's unrealistic, okay? It's unrealistic. So I like to bring up the negatives. I like to bring up the things that go wrong. I almost sometimes literally, and even though it's against my financial well-being, right? Sometimes I hope my stocks go down a little bit, or I hope a particular stock goes down, because then I can bring that up and I can make videos about it, and I can kind of show people the struggles you go through. I can show everybody that it's not perfect. Investing, it's not just you just go up and you just make unlimited amounts of money and everything's perfect. No, it's not. It's a lot of hard work that goes into it. When people think about investing, they get into something, right? A lot of times people are attracted by the money, right? You're going to make money. That's the thing that attracts people, right? That attracts people to investing. They think they're going to make their money into money. That's awesome. And generally, if you work hard enough and you got the right strategy, like 99 out of 100 times, you probably will make money, right? But the issue is there's going to be at least 1 out of 100 times, if not 10 out of 100 times, that you don't make money, where things don't go your way, where things didn't go as planned, right? And the issue I have is I think when I look out into the financial space, when I look out in the investment community, I don't see enough of the bad stuff ever being talked about. I don't see enough of the specifics being talked about. I don't see enough of the specific moves. And I think it's because a lot of times people are afraid that because they talk about a negative, they talk about a mistake they made, they might lose credibility. And my comment to that is you can't be afraid of that as an educator. You can't be afraid of that. You're doing a disservice to your community if you don't ever talk about the bad. If all you talk about is the good stuff you've done and you never talk about the bad, you're doing a disservice to your community. In my opinion, that's just, at the end of the day, you're doing a disservice because you're given a false narrative on this story that everything's beautiful, everything you just make money, right? And that attracts people and they think it's just an easy game. And it's not an easy game. Everything in life is hard. And you gotta sacrifice, you gotta put in work, you gotta put in time. So the things I preach all the time about investing, you've gotta put in the work. You gotta read those annual reports, you gotta do all this stuff, right? It's not just an easy game, because guess what? If it was such an easy game, every single person would be doing it, making so much freaking money, okay? It's not that easy. You've got to have the right strategy. You got to stick to that strategy, and then you got to put in the work to actually get you to that place, guys. So that's why I bring up the bad stuff, and that's why I love to bring it up. I love to bring it up whenever I have a chance to, because it gives a realistic view of what investing really is, what the world really is, because it's not all just profits. It's not just all gains. It's not just all greatness, right? There's some mistakes that are made, and I feel like that those mistakes are never talked about enough, in my opinion. The only thing that's ever talked about as far as mistakes is like people talk about like the financial crisis and whatnot. Just a general thing. That's just a general thing, man. That's just a general thing you're talking about. I want specifics. I want actual stocks you made that were bad moves. I want to hear about a bad option contract you bought. I want to hear about a bad year you had and why you had that bad year. I want to hear about that stuff because that's going to tell me a lot more about yourself than just the good stuff, right? We learn more from humans, right? You learn more from a person in their bad times than you do actually their good times, right? So, that's just kind of my opinion on it, and that's why I talk about the bad stuff, and I will continue to talk about it. If I make a mistake here or there, I'll continue to talk about it, not because I'm dwelling on it. I don't ever think about it. When I'm in my own time, I don't ever dwell on anything, okay? I don't ever dwell on anything, but on this channel, I'm going to make sure I bring up stuff when I want to bring up stuff that's negative because that's got to be talked about as well, guys. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this today. Hit a thumbs up if you really agree with me on this. Leave me a comment if you got something to say, guys. Thank you for watching and have a great day.